Okay, hi again. This is part 12 of this tutorial series thingy on Crusader Kings 2. This hopefully is going to be a proper Let's Play episode, and maybe there'll be a few more after that. After we had a slight break last time, so you can listen to me arsing about with the duchies. So we're back to where we were at the end of video 10, I think it is, or kind of at the end of video 10. We had this guy here, the Duke of Munster. He rebelled, and we put him in prison. So where we are now is where we were at the beginning of the last video, which is the revocation of a title. Now in the last video when we were looking at duchy titles, I took that one, but I don't want to take that one. I want to take one of the counties because I want to get some money. Also, if I take that, I'll end up with 3 duchy titles, and then I'll have to give one away, which again we'll come on to that briefly. So so let's have a look at, we've got county of it's got a choice between these two, and it's worth having a look because there's something strange about one of these. I think I saw earlier. I don't know if it's this one. Let's have a look at, this is the county that we might take, and it will give us 4.4 of income because there's no building on it and it's a bog standard castle, plus farming 10% is because of the this thing up here. Have a look at the, there you go, it's at level 1, so it gets you 10% castle tax, so that's what that is. So that's getting us 4.4 in tax, whereas Ormond is getting us only 4.3, and if you look here it says hold it is of wrong holding type, which is the brilliant English that they apply, and as you see it's not quite getting enough tax. Now what's going on here? Well, this isn't a castle, this is actually a city. Now I have no idea how this has been set up, because usually you see a city holding and then maybe a castle and a church. So if you go back here, we've got the city, the castle, which is the county capital, and then we have the city, which tends to be a holding that generates tax. As you can see, the base tax there is 14, whereas our base tax for our castles is only 4, but it doesn't actually create as much levy. And then you have the church, so usually you have 3 holdings, and that one is the county capital. However, in Ormond we're missing the county capital of the castle. In other words, the county capital is a city, which means whoever owns that is actually a mayor, and as a result he's also a duke. I don't think a duke can be a mayor. This is what it's saying, it's a wrong holding type. This is a bit of a, I think this is badly done in this game. It's all a bit confusing for me. There is a way you can actually correct this, but in this instance, to do that you actually need to have a castle. So you'd have to build a castle here, and then the way to get rid of it would be to I guess would be to take this off him, give the castle holding to someone else, then give the county holding to someone else. I think there's a way to do it, I've done it before, but it's not going to work here, not without me building an actual castle. So the bottom line is I'm going to leave Ormond alone because it looks toxic at the moment. So revoke title is by a process of elimination. I'm going to have that one, Ormond, and again he's not going to object too much. Well, he can't object because I've taken off him. So we get our domain size is up. We've become the Earl. Let's just have a quick check on what that does with our vassals. Nothing much. He obviously hates us, but then he's in prison, so what's he going to do about it? His heir is just checking whether it's worth killing him, but no, so we're going to leave him in prison for the moment. So basically that's what I've done there. So I've now increased my domain size to be 5, and that's these here, and you can see the domain size down here. I like this, I've said it before and I'll say it again. So you have all your, so you've got your Dublin, we've got Breffin, which we took away for I think we had a, did we have a claim or did we just attack? I can't remember what we did there. But as you can see, we're not getting any income and any levy there. That's because we have this little modifier because we recently conquered it, so we have to wait another 3 more years. It's a 5-year hit usually. So we're going to, so we will start getting some income from that at some point. But as you can see elsewhere, we're getting here? That's killed there, and then we have Leinster, and then we have the one we've just taken off him. So those are the 5 counties that we have. Now, so the first thing I want to do actually is have a quick look at, we're going to come back to the counties, but we'll have a quick look at what our objectives are now going to be. So given where we are geographically, there's really only, well, there's 4 places to go to try and conquer. We have to obviously expand somehow, so there's 4 ways to go. One is to do the biggies, go for England, but let's be honest, there's really no point doing that, because we'll get our arse handed to us on the plate. Scotland is similarly quite big. I mean, it's kind of, you could argue we're a similar size to him, so we might have a go at Scotland. But the best thing, I think, is you've got to go for one of these 2. So you've got this one here, which is the Isles. Again, handily coloured by Paradox to differentiate blue as opposed to blue. So you've got, but anyway, it's all this bit here for the Isles. I don't know anything about them historically, but anyway, that's what they are, and that's what he is. So we could go for them, and the reason we go for them is we go up there, starting here, or we could have a go at the Welsh. The Welsh are pretty fragmented at the moment. That is actually the kingdom of Wales, there, isn't it? Or Breth. Oh no, they've changed. They changed it after the. I think they changed it after the patch. They've all added it onto here as well. But the problem with doing Wales is good in that, you know, there's a lot of states that are just on their own. That one's on its own. That one's on its own. So's that one. And I think these are actually fighting or rebelling at the moment. So you could do one at a time. My only reticence about doing Wales at this point is that you are right on the border with England, which means if he decides to have a quick look at it and try and take it off you, he could march troops in easily. So I think the way I'm going to go is I'm going to try and get some claims and try and get somewhere here with these Isles. Now there is one thing you can look at here, which is down in the ledger. This ledger down here, it stops the game when you do it, even though we hadn't started the game. And to be honest, this is, well, I suppose it could be quite useful, but I don't use it too much. But if you just flick over to page 10, there is an interesting, although could be slightly misleading, it gives you every independent state and what army they can raise at the moment. So if we look at our guy the Isles, now unfortunately I don't know how the sorting works on this, because as you see it certainly isn't alphabetical unless you are severely dyslexic. If you're severely dyslexic, then that might look alphabetical to you, in which case you're getting more out of the game. But if you're not, that isn't alphabetical. Now it might be done by the name of the ruler, possibly, I have no idea. But anyway, I want to find that one there, the Isles. So we're going to use the old method of just looking for the bloody thing. Now if there's anyone out there who's watching this knows how to sort this and therefore get to something quickly, let me know. So anyway, the Isles, as you can see here, his army is only 382, which is interesting. That's quite small. If you look at us, our army is 1098, and if you just want to check it, come up here, that should be 1000, yeah, there you go. So currently we can raise 1098, which is what this ledger thing's saying. So this is a bit of a, I mean, I'm surprised all this information is here in a way, because you would have thought that, how the hell, if you're trying to simulate history, how the hell do you know all these numbers? Isn't that the purpose of having spies? But I don't know, it's all a bit weird. So what I'm basically looking at here is, on the face of it, it looks like the Isles are quite weak with 382. So that, in other words, if we had a claim and we went to war, we would be able to raise more troops than him. However, there is one thing to be very careful of here. That this is actually quite an accurate number, but it's a number based on the current state. So what I mean by that is, it looks like this bloke up in the Isles, when we flicked on him earlier, there was something. He's had a war with Malcolm. What Malcolm? Malcolm of Scotland. I think it was a war to see who had the stupidest name. Actually that's harsh, because he's Duke Harold and I think I'm Harold as well. So actually his name's Ace. So anyway, he's had a war, but if you look at his holdings here, his levy size that he can raise, it looks like he's raised his levies recently and they're now replenishing. which is why you can see that. Oh, actually, maybe not. I think anyway. I think the number that is in that ledger for him is what he could currently raise, and by that I mean if he has raised armies, say you've raised all your levies, you've gone to war and they've all died, your maximum amount that you can raise at that point, that number there, will be severely reduced. So my point here is really that I'm using this as a guide to say, well, this guy in the Isles hasn't got much in the way of troops. However, it could be that by the time we come to go to war with him, that's simply because he hasn't replenished his levies yet, so we need to keep an eye. Now, that could be a load of old bollocks, what I've just said. I don't think it is, because I've been using this elsewhere, but it's something to be aware of. So therefore, having got all of that out of the way, the bottom line is going to be that I'm going to send my Chancellor to fabricate claims in the Isle of Man. Because the Isle of Man is part of the Isles, so that's all I'm going to do there. So that's in a very long and roundabout way where my objective is. So that's kind of it's all very nice and lovely. I'll start the game, speed it up slightly. So the next thing I wanted to look at is I'm still obsessed with getting my income up, and I want to look to see if there's any more counties. Oh, actually, before we get on to that, let's have a quick look at these, because this is quite important. First, you've got this stupid pick and ambition, which is pointless really. Amass wealth, that's the only one there. Hopefully they're going to do something about ambitions, because that's just a waste of effort. There's unlanded sons. We have 3 sons of age, and we haven't given them any land, and that gives us a prestige hit. I've still never quite worked out why that gives us a prestige hit, but we're not into negative prestige at the moment, principally because of that plus 10% thing there, which is again comes from the majesty, comes from technology, sorry, which will be where our capital is. Come back to me. I think that comes from one of these. Majesty, yeah, there. And that's based on where your capital is, so that's where our 10% is coming from. So as ever, just by taking the pause off, you get inundated. Anyway, so we're going to ignore the unlanded sons for the moment, because I want to keep the land for myself. Okay. However, there's one here which is important to look at. One title can be created: the Duchy of Ulster. So we need to control 50%. And it will give us prestige because we create a dukedom, and we need to spend 186 gold. So we can now create the Duchy of Ulster. So should we go ahead and do it? And the short answer to that is, as at this stage, no. And there's a simple reason really, if I can remember it, which is we've become the Duke of Ulster, and as you know, that we have 2 dukedoms already. The moment we take a 3rd one, we'll start taking hits, okay, of our opinions on us. So therefore you'd probably be forced to offload it, and if you do that, you'll end up having to create a new duke, and if you do that, you're creating a new potential pain in the backside. Therefore at this stage, we don't need to create that title. When should you maybe create it, or when should it? I mean, if you've only got 2 of the counties, then you should create it, because you then get claims on the other 2. So that's one reason to do it. Certainly you should do it. Other reasons, if you have only got 2 and someone else has got 2, they can take the title and get claims on your counties, so later on you can usurp it, but that's an issue. So as far as creating duke titles goes, don't necessarily hurry into creating the duke titles. You remember beforehand we were the dukes. We created the duke titles in both of these. There we had that one, and we created the duke title so that we could go for Kildare, and we created the duke title there so we could go for them. But the other 2 duke titles in existence at the moment, that one, Munster, and that one, they were both already in existence. This one isn't, so we're going to leave it for the moment, I think, and make sure so we don't give ourselves an extra problem. As we need to start giving land out, for instance, well, if we start taking over land, then we can start giving a county, and then maybe create the dukedom to give it to someone who we want to favour us. But again, as I've said in a previous video, dukes can be a right pain in the backside. So anyway, we have. I've paused it again because we've just had shed loads of messages. And now this is interesting. It's told us we have a new heir, Prince Dongle Bottom. Now why is he our new heir though? That's our question. He's our new heir. See, this is where you have your problem with elective government, because as you see, despite the fact we've now got two people have now gone for someone else. This guy, he's now our heir, and he's well, he's a brilliant strategist, but he's not married and he doesn't have any kids, so it's not exactly a winner. Now it might be that they'll change back. It could be because I've just unpaused it. I don't know why they've gone for that, particularly as one of them I thought. Well, actually, it's because they don't like me, do they? So let's just go up here and give this guy a title, just to see if I can get a bit more opinion of him. He probably won't change his mind. But unmarried heir here. So what we're going to do is we need to marry this guy off. We should have done that anyway. He's our son. So this is the next thing we're going to do. And in traditional style, I'm going to pick someone with decent traits and particularly stewardship. I'm not so bothered at the moment about alliances, although this could be quite useful. She might not want to marry us, so she's a princess of Scotland, and we might get an alliance with Scotland, which could be handy. I'm wondering if whether... Yeah, there we go. This might turn out to be quite handy, Harry. So I'm going to marry him off to her. So I'll pause again. So we'll wait. These are all these successor nominations. What else do we have here? We wanted to amass wealth. That's because we did all that, so we know that. So basically, let's have the other thing we need to then do is have a quick look at all of these kids. New important decisions are available. Hold a tournament. What this will do is give you prestige, but it will also give you a +10. Tends to give you everybody loves you by +10 more. I'm not going to do that, and the reason I'm not going to do that is because it costs 200 gold. They've got married. Let's get the gold off them. Now hopefully, as you see, Malcolm is now our ally. Although he's not a huge fan of us at the moment. Now of course this is double-edged, because he will have wars and we might get called in. So we know that he's got a 10-year truce with this guy. However, if he has a war with England, we might get called in, and then we'll have to decide how we want to play that. If you decide to go with the alliance, then you get, I think, a +25 opinion if you honour the alliance. However, then of course we're open to attack. I think the way honouring alliances works in this game is a bit rubbish, to be honest, because you can honour the alliance and not send a single troop over, which I think is a bit pants, really, because although there is a cost of honouring the alliance, particularly here, if we go to war with England with him, we might not send any troops, but England might decide to come over and kick our butts. But overall, I think the alliance thing's a bit weak, really. I get a 25 opinion plus if I honour the alliance but don't send a single troop. I'm not entirely sure how that can work. Why Malcolm would love me even if I don't send anyone over, but that's an issue that I have. Anyway, so although this is a let's play, we haven't played really, have we? So anyway, what we got here, one title can be created. I'm going to just dismiss for now. Unlanded sons, I'm going to dismiss for now. And new important decisions are available, which was that grand tournament, and I'm going to dismiss for now. So our daughter-in-law has arrived. The other thing we're going to do is have a quick look at our other kidneys, or kids as they're known in the trade. So this was our original heir, who again, he thinks, well, we're his chosen successor, so he likes us, even though it's not going to do him any good in the current electoral system that we have. We've also got this one here. Now, he's married a pudding of a woman there, but she is a good steward, so that's fair enough. And they've had some quite decent kids. the comedy guy with the beard that we saw in the last tutorial. So that's the one that's currently married to the Princess of Scotland. Now he doesn't like us as much because we changed the succession law, but we haven't nominated him. So we could nominate him, but let's see what we want. Stat-wise, we get either him or we get him. Now, it's kind of much of a muchness really, but his wife's pretty good in that she's got good stewardship. Although she is a bastard, bizarrely enough. I didn't know that was a bastard. But anyway, did he marry again? Oh, he married again. Who's this guy? Sorry, I'm trying to recall my... Oh yeah, he was married to someone else. So his sons are from a previous marriage. Right, okay. So anyway, I think the best thing to do at the moment is flicking right back to the family. Let's recap where we are family-wise, for my benefit, not for anybody else's. That was our heir. His traits are a bit pants, to be honest with you. He's married, but he's got a good wife and he's got some kids. I think the grandson we should marry now. Grandson's traits are pretty good. A lot of them are probably going to come from his wife, but we should arrange a decent marriage for him. And again, I tend to go at this point because he might end up being our heir at some point, because that could be how it goes. So we want to marry someone with decent stewardship. Again, she's a wrong religion, and this one's young enough. She's quick. What else she got? She's generally okay. Let's go for her. So let's go. He'll marry her, hopefully. So that's just marrying his kids off. Let's go back again. So we've got this guy here. He's married to her. He's now got married. Cool. He's married to her. Hopefully she'll have some kids at some point. She does have children though. Oh, that's from a previous marriage, possibly. Anyway, so, but this is our chosen successor, so we need him to start sprouting kids with her, and then let's see if we've got anything else. So we've got 2 more children. Now these are quite young, so there's not a lot we can do there at the moment. We are just going to wait, and then we'll become their guardian. But we could marry them off to try and get some alliances at some point, or get some claims. So my granddaughter, who I'm tutoring, is just. Yep, so we'll let her have that. She's just. She's gluttonous though, which is also just. And we know that she's going to get married at some point. So, where are we up to now then? So we know where we're going, ish. We're going to try and go for up here, but we have to sort of wait. One child lacks a guardian. That's our son. Oh, there we go. We were just talking about him. Now he's a son that is unlikely to become the ruler because he's well down the list, isn't he? So maybe I don't want to be his guardian because I can't be bothered. If you give him to someone else, let's have a look at this guy, because this guy hates us, even though he's just collected some gold for us, which is a bit handy. If I give this to him, sometimes you get an extra bonus modifier. So let's just get him to do that. Bless him. So let's have a quick review of some of these things here. That was the guy we've just done there. Now we can see his opinion of us is, well, all of their opinions are not very good at the moment versus the Pope. The Pope obviously looks like he's Christ on heaven, isn't he? So we need him to die basically, and get a rubbish Pope in. But in the meantime, we should get this guy's opinion up of us. So what we're going to do is see if we can get this guy, the court chaplain, to go over and find this bloke here. Look, there's money flying in from this bloke here. We're laughing. So despite the fact he doesn't like us, he's claiming quite a lot of Wonga. So he's in Breffin. Is that how you said? Brief? No, it's not Breffin, is it? Brief. No. Brief. Yeah. See, I'm at a slight disadvantage here because I'm an ignorant English pig, so I can't obviously speak any foreign language and pronounce any name that's outside of England, and I probably have problems with that as well. In fact, it's a miracle that I can even identify this as Ireland, quite frankly. so bear with me. Therefore, I'm going to take our guy here to improve religious relations in that county. Brief. I thought it was Breffin. It's quite annoying. Has someone changed it? I bet they have, just to spite me. So what else are we doing here? We should actually check what our council are actually up to. We've got this guy fabricating claims over there. Now we had our marshal suppressing revolts. Let's have a quick look at revolt risk to see if that was now a Susuri. The peasants are upset. It's not our county though. This is one of the, again, another one of the stupid things. Sometimes you get the if that county revolts and the peasants rebel, whoever owns that county seems to do jack shit about it and expects me to come flying in. Again, something I've never quite understood. I think it was discussed on the forums and someone came up with some sort of excuses for it. But anyway, what I'm going to do is this guy, I'm going to research military tech back in the capital for the moment, move him over there. The steward is collecting taxes as he should, and that's the one he's collecting in, because it's got a big amount of money. I'll stop the accents now. And the spy master is in Dublin uncovering plots, so he's going along okay. The one child lacks a guardian is my kinsman, so we're going to just give him to let's do it by rank. I wonder if this guy, yeah, you don't get an opinion bonus there because he's not high enough. I don't think he's not good enough. He's just a kinsman. I just want to get rid of that. So anyway, there we go. This guy here wants to become chancellor. He does actually have. He's my grandson. He's not quite good enough though yet, so we're going to let it be for the moment. So this is supposedly a let's play, and we're 27 minutes into it, and we haven't done much. Although at least I have actually played, as opposed to dicked about reloading everything. So I'm going to pause the video to keep the size of it down, and then continue straight on, I think, with the next one. But where we are is we're not much further on. We sorted out the councillors, we've taken off a county obviously. We're not going to have the duchy up there. We are going to try and go for this part of the world. What's this? So that's where we are. The last thing I just want to do, let's go back to this ledger. Yeah, now have a look. There you go. It was. I think I was right. You remember last time he had 382. He's now got 462. That's because time has passed and his levies are sort of being enforced. So therefore, this number is a snapshot at one particular time. Again, just to warn you, if you do use this, if someone's just had a war, they might have no troops. However, they could theoretically have levies that are 2, 3, 4, 5,000. So don't necessarily pick your targets based on a snapshot of this. It looks like you've got more troops than him, and then when you go to war, you suddenly find he doesn't have 400 troops. He's got 4,000 troops because he's been at peace for a few years and he's got his levies back up. So it's very useful to know. It's also very useful in particular when if you get in against the biggies. If we look at England, he's got 3,000 troops, and we're worried about England. So it's always good to keep an eye on it if you think you're going to get into the shit with these people, and particularly if you play further down into Central Europe when you're mucking about with these guys, these two particularly. But the Holy Roman Empire is very ambitious, so you can keep an eye on that and see if you can beat the Holy Roman Empire. You just need to have lots of money and lots of levies, obviously. But it's quite a useful screen, one of the only useful screens I find in the ledger. So anyway, that was just a quick revisit back to that, just to show that you need to keep an eye on it. This guy here seems to be he's having a war with King Malcolm, so that's all going peaked on for him. So, but there's nothing we can do at the moment because we don't have a casus belli for the to war, so we need to get some claims going or invite some people over. So we'll have a look at that in the next one. So until that point, I'll see you again, and thanks for watching.